Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder why some babies seem to have trouble settling down to sleep and what that means for parents? Well, this new study might have a clue. We're diving into some fascinating research that looks at how a baby's sensitivity to the world around them connects with their sleep patterns and the way parents try to get them to sleep. Think about it, babies are constantly taking in information through their senses. What happens when some babies are just a bit more sensitive to all that input? So the big question here is, how does a baby's sensory processing, the way they experience sights, sounds, smells, and touch affect their sleep? And importantly, how do parents respond to these sleep challenges? To figure this out, the researchers gathered information from 245 infants aged between 6 and 13 months old. They used online questionnaires so parents could report on their baby's sleep habits and their own use of different ways to get their babies to fall asleep. They also asked about how sensitive their babies were to sensory information. They measured infant sensory sensitivity using a tool called the Infant Toddler Sensory Profile 2 or ITSP2. This questionnaire asks parents about how their baby reacts to different sensory experiences throughout the day. For example, does a baby get easily overwhelmed by loud noises or bright lights? When it came to sleep, they asked parents about how long it took for their baby to fall asleep at night, and during naps, and how many times their baby woke up during the night. And to understand how parents try to help their baby sleep, they use something called the Parental Interactive Bedtime Behavior Scale, or PIBBS. This scale looks at different ways parents try to settle their babies. These strategies were grouped into categories like active physical comforting, like rocking or carrying a baby. Then there is settling by movement, like taking a walk in the pram. Social comforting includes things like singing a lullaby or reading a story. And then there is encouraging autonomy, which is about letting the baby learn to settle themselves. They even included giving medicine as a strategy parents might use. Now, for the really interesting part, what did they find? First, they confirmed what other studies have suggested. That is right, babies who were more sensitive to sensory input tended to have more trouble falling asleep and woke up more often during the night. This makes sense. If a baby is constantly bombarded by sensory information, it might be harder for them to relax and drift off to sleep. But the study went a step further. They looked at how parents responded to these sleep challenges. And here's where it gets really illuminating. This is a key finding. Parents of more sensitive babies didn't just stick to one or two methods. They used a wider variety of settling strategies and use them more often. It seems like when a baby is struggling to sleep, parents of sensitive infants ramp up their efforts and try a bit of everything. They found that parents of more sensitive infants used all types of settling strategies more frequently. This includes strategies that are more hands-on and involved, like active physical comforting, but also strategies that might be a little less common, like giving medicine. It suggests that parents are adapting their approaches, trying to find what works for their sensitive little ones. This finding suggests that parents of sensitive infants might be experiencing more stress or anxiety around bedtime as they try to soothe their babies. It is a complex dance between the baby's internal world and the parent's external response. Now, here is a limitation and an interesting point. The study found a really strong connection between how sensitive the infant was and how sensitive the parent was. This is important because it made it difficult for the researchers to tell if the parent settling strategies were more influenced by the baby's sensitivity or their own. It is possible that parents who are themselves highly sensitive might be more attuned to their baby's sensory needs, or perhaps more easily overwhelm themselves, leading to different strategies. So what does this all mean? Well, it highlights that infant sleep isn't just about the baby. It is a family affair. A baby's sensory processing style is a significant factor that influences their sleep, and consequently the way parents respond. For parents of babies who struggle with sleep, this research suggests that understanding your baby's sensory sensitivities could be really helpful. It might explain why certain approaches work better than others, and could also offer insights into why you might be using a wider range of strategies. It also points to the need for more research into how parental sensory profiles might influence parenting practices around sleep. Are parents who are highly sensitive more likely to try certain strategies or experience more challenges? One of the study's limitations is that the data was collected during the COVID-19 pandemic, which could have impacted sleep and parental mental health. Also, relying on parent reports for sleep can sometimes be less precise than objective measures. Despite these limitations, this study offers valuable insights. It reinforces the connection between sensory processing and sleep in infants and shows us how parents adapt their strategies in response. Ultimately, it is a reminder that understanding a child's unique sensory world is crucial for supporting their development. including their sleep. So there you have it, a glimpse into the intricate world of infant sleep and sensory processing. It is a complex interplay, and this research gives us a clearer picture of one important piece of that puzzle. If you found this interesting, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any thoughts or experiences with infant sleep and sensory needs, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more breakdowns of fascinating research. We'll see you in the next one.